What's up everyone, Darcblade here with my review of The Order 1886. A PlayStation 4 exclusive, The Order 1886 was released on the 20th of February 2015. It was developed by Ready at Dawn and Santa Monica Studios, published by Sony Computer Entertainment. The game is essentially a story-heavy, third-person action-adventure that tries to combine a cinematic experience with a gaming one. However, there is always risk when taking this approach. It is also risky these days to produce a new AAA IP. With all this in mind, how good is The Order 1886? Now I'm going to try to avoid major spoilers with the game's story, as it is a story-heavy game. The game is set in an alternative history, set in London in the 19th century. It follows the story of an order of knights that protect the world from supernatural creatures. These creatures are referred to as half-breeds and normally consist of lycan and vampires. The order consists of knights of the Round Table that harkens back to King Arthur. The majority of the knights are old. They have seen many civilizations come and go thanks to an extended lifespan. This is all thanks to the Black Water, a mystical liquid that gives them long life and heals their wounds. Each knight of the Order carries a small vial of the Black Water around their necks. Along with the Black Water vials, the knights have access to a whole host of steampunk-inspired weaponry, from arc rifles to crude radio communicators. The world around them too also has access to advanced machinery, such as zeppelins, that litter the London skyline. So the story has an established background that is slowly revealed over the course of the game. You take the role of Sir Galahad, a member of the Order of Knights. The early parts of the story have you investigating and putting down various rebel and suspected half-breed operations. During these parts of the game, you are introduced to what life is like in this alternative world. It's gritty and dark, but at the same time a joy to behold. As the game goes on, Galahad soon realises that not everything is black and white. Thanks to his mentor and friend, Sir Percival, Galahad is set on a road that is filled with mystery and deception. The story overall I thought was good. I was pleased with the Knights of the Round Table alternative history background, as it was an interesting concept to me. The story is filled with many conflicts and mysteries as you try to uncover the overall threat to the world. Although it was predictable in places, I enjoyed it for what it was. It is by no means a deep story, and has been done before, but thanks to the backstory, I was able to enjoy it. You do, however, have to be aware that The Order 1886 is a story-heavy game. Half of your time with this game will be spent with the story, either through cutscenes or scenes that involve QuickTime events. The gameplay of The Order 1886 tries to combine many forms of gameplay together. It is, however, very linear. While it could be considered mainly as a third-person shooter, it does contain many set-piece QuickTime events, stealth segments, and a few light puzzle mechanics like lockpicking. The performance of the first-person shooting mechanics is very similar to other games, namely the Uncharted or Gears of War series. But is this a bad thing? In this case, not so much. It works fine, smoothly popping in and out of combat as you bring down foes with various weaponry. You can even access the black light that slows down time and allows you to unleash a hail of pistol bullets at foes. While it does not bring anything new to the table for this part of the gameplay, it doesn't break anything. A highlight of the third-person shooting mechanic for me was the lycan fight sequences. These had Galahad face off against a few of these monsters as they tried to sneak attack you from various angles. However, there were not many of these sections in the game, which was a shame. Now, like I mentioned, there are a lot of QTEs or QuickTime events in this game. QTEs I find have a love-hate relationship. Although I didn't mind them too much, I can understand why some people would dislike them in this game. I did find the melee kill QTEs good, with the game using the environment around Galahad to knock out these foes. The stealth sections were okay, they were nothing special. They are not as in-depth as other stealth games, and sometimes can be frustrating with the one-hit kills if you are caught. When you are not fighting, you are walking down very linear areas, finding clues and collectibles. For most of these sections you do have a little jog, but in one or two of them you are forced to walk, which could be frustrating for some players. Overall, the gameplay was a bit of a mixed bag. While the majority of the gameplay works fine, there are a few annoying aspects. I can see people getting fed up with the QTEs and stealth segments. However, I enjoyed almost all of it. I didn't have a problem with most of the gameplay sections, although I do agree that it doesn't bring anything new to the table. Now, in this section I would normally talk about the multiplayer aspects of the game, but alas, the Order 1886 has none. So, moving on to the presentation. The presentation of the Order 1886 is by far the highlight of the game. It's probably the best looking next gen console game around at the moment. Every environment has had a lot of detail put into it. The character models look great, with the facial capture getting high praise from me. The voice acting has been done well, and is another aspect that dragged me into the story. This is all topped with a soundtrack that adds life to the world and heightens the mood depending on Sir Galahad's situation. The only downside about the presentation I can actually mention is that the letterboxing can be a little annoying at times. The love and care that has been put into the art design, graphical design, motion capture, voice acting and soundtrack shows. It shines as a great example of what the PlayStation 4 is capable of from a presentation point of view. It is easily the best part of the Order 1886. Overall, the Order 1886 is not a bad game despite what people say. However, it is by no means a masterpiece. While its presentation is easily its best aspect, the gameplay takes no risks, but it's not bad. It works, and for once we have a game that is released without any major gameplay bugs. The story is subjective, as most stories are, so the story is down to personal preference here. I personally enjoyed the story. Like I already said, it is by no means a deep story, but it was a tale I could get into. With all this being said though, there are a few aspects of the game that bothered me, and that is its length and longevity. The Order 1886 is story heavy. It is about 6 to 7 hours of gameplay combined with a few hours of cutscenes and storytelling. This means that the game is short. It took me about 3 evenings of playing to complete it, and I can imagine it being done even quicker, maybe even a day if you have that much spare time. Also, thanks to it being story heavy, it means that you are less likely to go back to the game for more playthroughs unless you're interested in trophies. However, despite its short length, I still enjoyed the Order 1886. I'm glad I bought it. I'm also glad, in a strange way, to play a game that does not take a long time to complete. Maybe it was a bit shorter than I would have liked, but I was still glad to experience this new IP. I'm hoping, and by what happened in the story, that there will be more games in this series, as it has formed a good base which they can build on to make an even better game next time. I enjoyed this game. Even with its shortcomings, it's a cinematic experience that I would recommend. However, at full price, it might be a bit much for some, so I would advise renting it or waiting for a price drop before diving into the Order 1886. Anyway, I've been Darcblade, bringing you my review of the Order 1886. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.